very own personal BMW 125D, built in 2014. Great car, super reliable. I bought it in December 2014. It cost me about £24,000. The list price new was probably close to 40, and it was about 10 months old when I bought it, and it was owned by somebody from BMW. I always wanted a quick diesel because basically I was driving up and down the motorways for business, and on the phone all the time, so this was a perfect car for motorway driving, with voice control, automatic gearbox, decent engine. You know, this thing will sit on the motorway all day long, at the speed limit or above. Yeah, it's a 2-litre twin turbo engine. It's got 215 horsepower and about 450 newton meters of torque, and the claimed figure is 0 to 60 just under 6.5, and it feels really quick as well. Not that it's a great car for doing 0 to 60, and it's more of a sort of, you know, you're driving down the road doing sort of 30 miles an hour and you want to pull away. You know, this thing does sort of 30 to 70 pretty quickly, because it's the auto box, you know, it's so quick. So yeah, it's been a great car. We've had it just over 6 years, and we've put on it 60,000, so it's about 72,000 miles on the clock. Yeah, and it took me a while to find this specification. I'll show you inside. So inside we went for the cloth interior, which is called, I think, hexagon cloth, but they're sort of like Recaro seats, and it reminded me of the old Ford, going back to the 80s, where Fords were using Recaro seats in their cars, and the trim was very similar to this. These ones obviously have the extra extensions just like the old ones, and they actually have a button here which firms up the bolsters, so it holds you in really well. So to give you a view, and this is obviously the Sport automatic transmission. Got the professional media pack, so that's the bigger screen. Old school dials with some digital elements to it. iPhone connects to it, Bluetooth or via the USB adapter in the glove box. Yeah, and it's a very nice place to be. Got the extra Harman Kardon surround system, which is fantastic. Don't need anything else. Yeah, so overall it's a very nice place to be. Right, just going to show you around the engine. You have to pull twice to get the engine bonnet open, and one thing I do like about this car is that the engine, the bonnet, feels so heavy and solidly built, and you've got these big struts here that really, you know, do a great job of making it feel like a real quality machine. And yeah, it's a, you know, twin turbo 2-litre engine, and water goes in there. A boring fact, I know, but this makes me laugh. One of the extras that came on this car was the headlight wash. It sounds fantastic, and it does keep them clean. And it comes, this little thing here actually extends out and spurts your washer fluid onto the lenses of the lights, and it does work, but boy does it waste washer fluid. The reservoir on this, I think, is 5 litres, so it gets expensive, and it you don't tell it when to do it, it just decides when it thinks it needs to clean its eyes. So yeah, it goes everywhere, and probably costs you about £5 every time you squirt the washer fluid. But it does work, and it's great having such a big capacity, especially if you're doing long motorway drives. And then just to show you in the boot, it's a decent size. We've got a bit of rubbish in the back, but yeah, you'll get a big shopping trolley worth of shopping from the supermarkets in the back, and yeah, never been an issue for us. I get a whole load of wood in the back if I'm doing a log burner session. So yeah, it works as a transit and motorway cruiser and sports car. Okay, here we go. £160 worth of shopping about to be squeezed in the BMW's trunk. Easy peasy Japanesey. Okay, onto the geeky stuff. The front and the back tyres are actually different sizes, and a lot of cars seem to be doing that these days. It's annoying because you can't swap them around if they wear slightly unevenly. So the backs are 245 35s and the fronts are 225s 40. So God knows why. But yeah, these ones have had Pirelli P0s on. Seem alright to me. You know, they're good for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. Handle well, and yeah, 2 or 3 years out of a pair of tyres I guess isn't too bad. Cost you about probably £200 a tyre because these are the run flats. And yeah, could be cheaper, but there we go. But I have actually had a puncture on the one of these tyres before, and it managed to get me about 60 miles on the actual punctured tyre. And so it's pretty impressive, and that was doing about 50-60 miles an hour. So they definitely do what they say. Yeah, so yeah, there we go. I think that's that gives you a rough idea. The basic information on this car. Tax is 115 a year, and the insurance for me, I'm 43, and for me and my wife it's about 350 a year. So you know, for the money, and these now you can pick these up anywhere between 10 and 15,000. You know, fantastic car. Honestly, it's a lot of car for the money. And this thing will go down, if you were in Germany, you know, this thing would go down the autobahn doing 140 all day long, in 8th gear. So yeah, you know, it's brilliant. So anyway, onto the driving part of the video. I'm going to take it from me from my address in Surrey through some of my favourite roads, going through to Newlands Corner, through Sheer, and on the back roads to Amberley. So it's a favourite route of mine. Lots of beautiful scenery, great bumps, some fast roads, slow roads, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy them, and that'll be the basis of all my my car reviews. Okay, let's show you what it's like to start this thing up.
The other side of the argument, they found themselves.
Talk radio, one of my favourites. Okay, exhaust note from the back. Personally, I think it's terrible. BMW is mine, had it for 6 years, put 60,000 miles on the clock. What's it like to drive? It's really comfortable. You know, it's not a sports car, it's more of a cruising machine. It's got the 8-speed auto. You know, I'm in sport mode at the moment, in automatic. I'm doing just under 2,000 RPMs at 40 miles an hour. It's nice and comfortable, it's pretty quiet. Yeah, you know, it's just nice and easy. You know, driving through the country lanes doing these sort of speeds, it's absolutely perfect. I've checked on the AC Schnitzer website, and you can actually chip one of these up to about 260, and you can get the torque up to about just over 500 Newton meters. Now, I have seen articles on the web where you can get them up to close to 300 horsepower. I'm not sure if the gains would actually be that much, but yeah, if you go to AC Schnitzer, you're probably talking about $3,000 for a chip. And if you want a different intercooler, so you've got that colder temperature coming in through into the engine, which I'm told is worthwhile doing. that's another sort of £1,000. So for £4,000 you can get a pretty rapid diesel, and I'm sure it would still turn around about 45 miles to the gallon and be plenty quick enough. I mean, I've always ummed and ahed about chipping this, but it's so quick anyway in gear that I've never really bothered to explore it. You know, just driving like this, and then if you put your foot down, you know, it really goes. So yeah, it's something I've always toyed with but never really bothered with because it's fast enough. How did it handle? Yeah, good. It's not a Boxster, but it's fine. Yeah, the steering wheel's a bit chunky. Some of the other YouTubers I watched, Joe Achilles, Seen Through Glass, and Harry's Garage, you know, I think they've all commented before that the BMW steering wheels are probably a tad too thick, and I would definitely agree. I mean, it's comfortable, and on long journeys it's fine, but it's not like a Porsche steering wheel where you put your hands around it and it just feels delicious. But it's fine, you know. This one's got the paddle shifts, but to be fair, I never use them. I have used them in the past, but the automatic box does such a good job, you just don't find yourself using the pedals, and they're machined really nicely, you know, on the side here. So yeah, so it's a shame, but it's a nice extra to have, you know, if it comes with a sports automatic gearbox. So why wouldn't you? It's got 4 settings in here actually. This car doesn't have the adaptable suspension, but it's got the M Sport suspension. So I'd say it's firm, but it's comfortable. Yes, it does skip over bumps a bit, but this also has the run flat tyres, so that probably doesn't help. But yeah, the 4 sport modes are eco mode, which I never use. You know, if you did a 100-mile round trip, you'd probably save yourself 10 miles being in eco mode, but you don't really buy a car like this to do that. And then you've got comfort mode, which is really nice, comfortable ride, smooth gear changes, a nice torque band. Sometimes actually in comfort the torque band feels bigger than it is in Sport and Sports Plus. I'm not sure why, maybe it is, I'm not sure, but it really does pull hard in comfort mode at certain rev ranges. And then you've got Sport mode, which is the best mode with traction control on, which you definitely need in the wet, being a rear wheel drive car. If you put your foot down in this, going around the corner, the back will come out. And then Sports Plus is everything off, and the engine and the gearing holds on for a bit longer. This car is just impressive all the time, honestly. It's just such a nice place to be. We've got the big sat-nav screen, which is just off. You can't really see it on camera, but it's a decent size. I think it's about 10 inches, something like that. But really good graphics. I mean, bear in mind, this is the 2014 car. This was by far one of the best sat-navs you could get on the market. This was a professional media pack, so this was the best you could get, and I think they were pretty much standard across all the BMW ranges. So yeah, you couldn't really get any better than this at the time, and it's still really good. The graphics are good, it keeps everything up to date. The routes, the iDrive system in here is fantastic. I've got the little iDrive knob down here, which you can either twist and turn, or you can write the letters on the top of it, and that still works fine. I have to say, the voice control in this car is fantastic. It really does work well. I'm not going to demonstrate it, but take it from me, it does. I had a Mercedes C-Class estate for a company wagon, and although that was a mighty car, possibly too good, if that makes sense, everything inside of the infotainment system and the voice control was just horrendous. It was the worst I've ever seen, and it still amazes me that somebody from Mercedes actually signed that off as usable. Yeah, completely terrible. Can't think of another system as bad as that. Right, hello everyone, different day, same car, but I thought I'd treat my viewers to a little bit of burning rubber. It's a little bit wet and down a nice quiet road, so as long as I get no traffic, I can do a bit of 0 to 60. So just waiting for a couple of cars to go by. Always got to be safe. Okay, now's the time. Okay, here we go. Ready? Floor. Oh. Only for you guys. I need new tyres anyway on the back, so taking a few centimetres of rubber away, it's not going to be too painful for me because I need to be changed in a few months' time anyway. So yeah, you can see plenty of power. You know, this thing will light up. It'll do that in the dry as well. But yeah, I mean, that's in Sport Plus mode, so there's no traction, so obviously it makes it a bit easier. But yeah, I mean, when it's slippy like this, you know, this thing is fantastic. Now, one car I would like to review would be the Porsche Boxster 718 GTS 4-cylinder, 2.5 litre 4-cylinder. Now, really mixed reviews on that car. I've driven the base 718 Boxster 4-cylinder and thought it was fine, you know, but I haven't driven that many high-end cars, and but I thought it sounded alright. It went really well, and it was like a go-kart. It was a fantastic car. I don't mind tomorrow if I can afford one. So I'd like to take out the GTS, the 2.5 litre, because with 365 horsepower, that should be pretty rapid, and with torque low down, it should be a really good car. So I might see if I can speak to Porsche, see if I can get hold of one of those for a test drive, and obviously compare it with the new 4 litre GTS. So I really liked the review that Joe Achilles did recently. He loved it, wanted to stop filming so he could just drive it all day long. So it'd be interesting to see if I feel the same. Ideally in a manual, because I've only ever driven a PDK, which are fantastic. But just going to give it some beans up the hill. There you go, speed limit in 5 seconds. Yeah, so yeah, there'll be some interesting, hopefully I'll be able to get some interesting cars for you. There's some old vehicles I'd like to do a review on, the Nissan 370Z. I also wouldn't mind having a Nissan GTR GT to review. I've always liked those, never been in one of those. The Datamasso Pantera GTS, another beautiful car. I'm going to have to find someone who owns one of those. Yeah, all sorts of cars. Porsche 968 Club Sport maybe. Yeah, sort of some old classics from my sort of time. But obviously the Pandera isn't. I'd be about 60 if I was born back then. So okay, just going to go over this big bumper kick, 'cause it's always impressive but a bit scary. Whoa, that's nearly 60 over that. Yeah, crazy bump. Let's put some power down. Speed limit, no problem at all. Okay, let's just do a little loop here and give it some beans on the way out. Not sure the restaurant manager of this little drive-away cafe is going to be too happy, but anything for my viewers, for your viewing pleasure. Here we go. Right, let's just make sure there's nothing coming. Always got to be safe. Okay, and we're good to go. Here we go. Flat. There we go. 60. Now that was foot flat to the floor. So yeah, I don't know what you thought. I don't think it sounds that great. If it had a nice exhaust system on it, I'm sure it would be much better. But it's rapid, you know, it's a good car. For the average person, you'd be more than happy with this motor. And that was in sport mode with which is traction controller, so yeah, not too much slippage. So we come to the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Hopefully the next video will be my friend's Porsche Taycan 4S. Looks like a beautiful car. He uses it for work. He's got a charger at work, so for him the range anxiety is not too much of an issue, but it will be interesting to see what happens when we do a review and see if we have that range anxiety, because he's going to be driving probably 35 miles to me. We're going to be doing probably 50 or 60 miles, and then he's got to get home. So yeah, without having anywhere to probably charge it in the countryside, it could be an interesting day. So that's coming. Hopefully there'll be many more car videos. I've got to kind of work out and speak to a few car manufacturers and see if they're willing to offer me some cars to do some reviews on. And then there'll be a few videos from around the home talking about how I've made this video, what equipment I use, and yeah, the platform I used to do this video, and how I've found the whole YouTube process so far. Bear in mind, this is my first ever video I've submitted to YouTube, well, apart from the introduction video. But please subscribe, hit the like button, and remember, if you turn on the bell icons, you will get automatically notified when a video has been released. So I hope you like it. New video coming soon. Okay, so this is what the car looks like at night time. I love it. I think it's they have really nice colour dials. All glows up really well, nice. Gear lever even glows up. All the support buttons, and the iDrive system has a really nice glow around the controller and the menu. Yeah, it looks really good. Here's what it looks like at night from the outside. You've got the nice circle lights, and one of the extras was the extra lighting under the doors at night. It looks very good. And then come around the back, and yeah, looks really good I think at night. Really nice.